Cal, wouldn't mind standing and look at the camera? Alright, so did you know that according to TheGuardian.com, more Americans vote for American Idol than for president? Doesn't sound right, does it? It must not come as a surprise to you to know that Huffington Post has found that 35% of our population is not registered to vote, even though they are eligible. It's a high percentage considering that there are 313.9 million people total in the U.S. That means that 109.8 million people are eligible to vote but haven't registered. Voting is a very important aspect of what makes our country unique, but it's hard to get involved when many of us don't know how to go about doing so. This is why I'm here today. There are a few things we need to check off our list before we get started. First off, you need to learn whether you're eligible or not. The most basic question to start with is, are you a citizen? If you are, then great. Hold on just a little longer for further instructions. If your answer was no or I don't know, then we'll continue with y'all first. If you were born in the U.S. and have a U.S. birth certificate, then you are considered a U.S. citizen. It is also possible to be a citizen if you were born abroad as long as you had at least one parent who was a U.S. citizen at the time of your birth. Hopefully that helps some of you. If not, then let me ask you another question. Have you been naturalized? If you have been, then you are a citizen. If you can't remember, then you may remember being naturalized as the strict process by which you gave up your citizenship from your country you were born in. If you remember that, then make sure you got approved, and if so, you are a citizen. Still haven't fit into any of these categories? This most likely means that you are not yet a citizen. I suggest that you visit the USCIS, or United States Citizenship and Immigration Services website, and follow the links that lead you to the application process. After you have been approved, then I encourage you to come back to the speech to proceed with the voting registry. If you aren't ready to become a citizen but have a green card, then you're still eligible to vote in your county of residence. Now that citizenship has been established, there are a few more requirements. You must be at least 18 years old to vote, not be a convicted felon that has yet to complete parole, and not be declared mentally incapacitated. If you are a convicted felon and have completed parole, then you are still eligible to vote. Be sure to go through the votetexas.gov page where I found the previous requirements and double check that you meet all of the criteria. Now that you know you meet the criteria, then it's time to register and vote. This needs to be completed in the county of your permanent home. There are two ways you can go about doing so. The first option is going online to votetexas.gov and filling out the application online and then printing out what they tell you to and mailing it into the voter registry of your county of residence. However, you also have the option to request that a prepaid postage application be mailed to you and that you just need to fill it out and mail it back. That same website also has the opportunity for you to check and see if you are already registered to vote and in what county you are registered in, just in case you forget. After your application has been accepted, they will mail you your voter card. Once you receive this card, you can now take it to a polling location during early voting or on election day. The polling location options will be made available to you through your local news, or you can use the search tool provided by votetexas.gov. Once you arrive at one of the locations, you will be asked to provide your voter card, an acceptable form of ID, which you can also find on the same website. Also, another helpful hint is that you can go vote with only your driver's license, as they can check if you're registered by just that card. That's what I did when I voted in the last presidential election in 2012. Depending on election type, you'll receive either a paper ballot or an electronic voting slip. Now all that's left is making your choices and submitting them. America is currently under a federal republic government, which is defined by dictionary.com as a state in which supreme power rests in the power of citizens entitled to vote and is exercised by representatives chosen directly or indirectly by them. Voting gives us the power to share our opinion, but promotion can multiply those opinions. There are many ways you can go about doing that. Just reminding someone to vote or teaching them how to is a good start. Or I have seen many people put signs on their lawns that show their support for a certain candidate or political party. There are also many others who place stickers on their cars and wear t-shirts to promote their favorite candidate. It's the little things that count, really. Some people resist registering to vote because they think that their vote doesn't matter, especially when it comes to national elections. But in the 2000 election between George W. Bush and Al Gore, every vote did matter. That election was decided by the state of Florida, and the country waited on edge to see what candidate Florida went for. Since the U.S. operates under an electoral college system, Whichever candidate wins the popular vote gets all of the votes, all of the state's electoral vote. In Florida, it came down to just a few votes, which proves that every vote really does matter. In order to be heard, you have to be proactive. Voting is the best way to do so. If you're already registered, then great. Getting others involved is the next best thing you can do. So be sure to check your eligibility, register, vote, and promote. We want to make a bigger difference in reality versus reality TV.